Alright, so this is not my normal setup. I'm using a really shitty mic just because someone else is using mine right now, but I guess we'll just get into it.
Everything, my strange little friend.
Fast forward a bit. So the first thing I noticed right here is you're holding like super close for no reason. You don't really have an angle to escape or anything. Take a while to line up that grenade. I mean, outside of like missing your shots and stuff, like I mean, I'm not gonna criticize your aim too much. Like, you know, you said you were perpetually silver forever. With Ana specifically, if you're having like a ton of trouble hitting your shots, especially whenever you're doing the projectile mode, you should be doing something called quick scoping. It's where you just like hold your right click just barely long enough so that the like outline of your scope comes in and fire and then release. Because if you like scope and unscope between shots, it messes up the recovery animation of your shots, which makes it take a long time in between. But specifically if you're having trouble hitting shots, scoped is a lot easier, but quick scoping is like the most optimal. Realistically, you should just try to get better at hitting projectile shots. But again, I'm not going to criticize too much about that. Specifically right here, you jump off the high ground whenever you're pretty aware that you have like a ton of people right underneath you. Like, so you probably shouldn't have, like I said, you shouldn't have probably been there anyway. You should have been probably something more like, let's see if it'll let me do this the way I want to. I doubt it. Because I don't know how to do the free cam very well. So basically what I wanted to say is like you should be up here at the top of these stairs, because you get like a full view of everything and you get way more space to work with whenever they start pushing you, especially when you found out that they had a Lucia. Like, that's obviously unfortunate, but you just had no time or space to work with, and you ended up dropping down there and you're just like immediately in like the danger zone. He had a good sleep. Like, I won't criticize you there.
Next time, say please.
This is obviously really bad. I don't need to say anything about that. So, like, that just comes with the territory, right? But yeah, so specifically there, it was like a ton of stuff ended up happening. Like, all of it came from like holding right here. But if you just held back on the stairs physically, you can just move into this room and drop if you need to, and then you can end up holding here. Controlling stuff. You can end up here, holding this high ground with more escape routes as well.
Covering you.
For now, let's get back into it. Right now, like, you're on low ground. You don't seem like that's a little bit aggressive. And again, you're like caught off guard by like the enemy. So specifically here with your positioning, you would want to be like up here. Like anywhere where it's hard, where people have to commit their abilities or like routing to come get you is obviously optimal. I doubt there's like some really cracked, I mean, who knows? There might be some god Widowmakers in Silver. I haven't played there in a very long time, but assuming you just want to make them use their time or resources to come and get you. But playing in like with your team as Ana, you're not using your effective range very properly. If anything, you're just like, you're playing Ana as if she were like Baptiste or like any other like mid-range support. Like, Ana has no effective range. Her effective range is like as far as you can hit, really. There's gonna be like a ton of mid-picky stuff, so like another thing about like hard scoping at times, like aside really, is like you end up with situations that like lose focus on like everything else around you and just like what's immediate. Moving up here is fine, you have an advantage to train for like no reason, like the fight's already lost.
I have you. Keep fighting.
That's fine. I am curious to see like how you end up using this nano.
Keep
Good,
fighting.
good. Really good. It's an unfortunate reload. So biggest thing right now is just like you're playing a position where it's like you don't really have to be here. Like you don't have a reason to be here instead of just like somewhere better. Like that's the biggest thing. It's just like why here when you could be here? And it's like if people push you here, you have two different ways to go. You can go back, you can drop down, and like you see your team like the whole time. You're not like fighting geometry to try and get sight on your team or even the enemy. Like you can just move within space up here to manipulate what the enemy can see, and then like you'll always be able to see whoever you consider like the most important target.
Get in there.
So I figured something like this would happen. So with the nano, oftentimes I understand you're just bored, obviously. Like you're bored and nothing's happening, so you push your nano and you're like, all right, you put your nano on the tank, and the tank here's just like, all right, start the fight for us, tank. And like, I mean, sure, but nano is like just so much more than that. Like you pretty much almost never really want to start a fight with nano because it's like just such a like a perfect like defensive ability. Like it gives a 250 damage heal. Like you can save someone on the cusp of death and just like completely turn the tide of a fight. By starting a fight with nano, like you miss out on that heal entirely and like the surprise burst healing and like turning the tide of the fight. It's like they're not already in a position to be aggressive. Like even like nano blade, like you're not just gonna like naked open with a nano blade, right? Like so, because Genji, like even if a Genji has nano, he doesn't want to like in an optimal position. He doesn't want to go in just like as the fight opener because then everyone's just gonna use all their cooldowns and like 50% damage reduction against 5 players is still dead. So like better nano usage is like when someone is already in a fight and they've taken some damage, use it on them either to save them or because they can turn the fight. So like right now, obviously they reacted to you with Beat and Blizzard, and like your nano just doesn't exist. Like they're completely shielded up, and 2 of your team, including the person you nanoed, is frozen right now, and they're definitely gonna die. I would be very surprised if they didn't at least. I mean, they committed a ton of ults for that for like no reason. And I mean, nano charge is super fast, but like don't be hard up about like one bad nano.
I won't give in.
You just know that like I'm not like harshly criticizing.
Your end is within my reach.
You gotta find out.
You're fine.
The payload has reached the checkpoint. It's go time.
And then here, this is like a classic. Oh, this is such a
man.
classic like silver gold thing. You see it all the time. The enemy team has already capped the point. Your Sojourn is using their ult for what? Like the cart is like in an animation right now. It's stuck in an animation. They can't even push it if they want to. Your Sojourn ults, but thankfully the Reaper is just like your best friend, and he comes in and decides to use Death Blossom again for what? Like what? They're not gonna get any more progress on the payload than what they were already gonna get. This is just a funny observation. This has nothing to do with you. It's super funny to see. It's just like, you really don't want to commit anything after the point is already capped, especially whenever the payload is stuck in its animation of like transitioning from, the checkpoint to the next part of the map. Like, it's just funny. Here, like, it's just another positioning thing. Like, you're playing kind of close, especially against a Reaper. Like, Reaper's biggest thing is like from bronze to like low diamond. He's like a terror. But then like as soon as people are like, wait a second, shotguns don't hurt me if I'm far away from him, he just like stops being like a thing that you play against until you get into like even the higher ranks where like the Reapers are just like the sneakiest dudes of all time. And they're like, you'll just never hear them coming, and they'll one tap headshot you, and it's like, damn, I got. But yeah, especially against a Reaper, like as Ana, use your effective range. You know, like you don't have drop off. There's no damage drop off. Your heal's just as strong. Your damage is just as strong. She throws that grenade like a linebacker, or linebacker, like a like a. She could throw it really far. Like play to your effective range.
Stand up straight.
You're not gonna criticize too much about playing low ground again. But yeah, you're kind of in the middle of like one of those like classic super long team fights. This is unfortunate. It's the kind of the thing about Reaper. So like the biggest thing about Reaper is like you can pretty much always know where he is if he's not like TPing to like mask his footsteps. His footsteps are loud as hell. They're just like stompy all the time. He even has a voice line where it's like, I gotta get quieter boots or whatever. Just try to listen for that and like be away from it, you know? But I am just gonna speed this up a bit because I don't know if I want to commentate a ton for like 20 minutes because it'll end up being like 25 minutes. Keep talking.
I see you.
Like they're committing a bunch of ults, it's like fine or whatever. But if that Ryan had shatter, you were 100% dead. He's dunking on you the whole time. He's gonna shatter you and kill you. But again, it just comes down to like playing to. That was a better nano. Probably what you want to save so they're a little bit lower to like deny a kill. Like it ended up not mattering anyway. So like a big thing again, Ana effective range. Unless you're like getting pincered or whatever by the entire enemy team, it's like, you know, they're rushing you down, blah blah blah, whatever. You don't really ever want to be in like these ranges that like a Ryan can operate in or a Reaper wants to operate in. Like you just want to take further sight lines that they have to commit either time or abilities, resources to come and get you specifically. Like especially as Ana, like you have no escape. Your escape is the fact that you weren't there where they were trying to be in the first place.
لسه قدامي كتير.
This is good right here. This is fine. You should definitely play a little bit closer to the corner so like you can like duck into it. You want to minimize the amount of time it takes for you like cover your body with geometry as much as possible. Because like as you rank up, like, they're not gonna give you that much grace period. Big thing about the Reaper here is like you knew he was on the right hand side, and like players at this elo like don't really have object permanence. You know, he saw you, and you were all he saw. So it was unlikely that he wasn't gonna come for you. Like again, I mean, you're under a lot of stress right now. Like the payload's pushing, your team's like doing stuff. There's like a tank in your face, and then suddenly there's a Reaper on you. But like, you can't, I guess, forget about the threats that you just saw and hope that they forgot about you.
I still have some fight in me.
I don't want to miss anything important. I do want to see how you play judging by the length of this game, I assume you guys go around 3. I'm probably going to skip that. What else am I going to learn?
I appreciate the support.
This exact map setup. So like here's fine. I guess like another big thing. Like the sleep was good. You probably could have used it like that was a good nano before you died as well. There's probably not going to be another fight. You might not get another respawn or whatever, but
Breaking me down just builds me up.
oh gosh, what were we just saying? Oh, another thing is like using your abilities. Like, so you used your sleep at the end. It was a good sleep on the Reinhardt. He got woke up immediately or whatever. But like, especially at this elo, you can just like use your abilities and off like on cooldown. Like as soon as they come up, like look for an opportunity. Like don't rush it and be like, I gotta push all of my buttons as soon as my buttons are up. But until the enemy gives you a reason to need those abilities, just use them. Like maybe you'll get like a total hero play, like a sleep dart from downtown or whatever, and it like completely changes the game. Like just don't feel like you need to be married to the sleep dart until someone gives you a reason to need it as an emergency button.
Here for you.
30 seconds. Lasers are alive!
Switching to Brig is fine, obviously. I'm curious how you play the Brig. It's like a concept all the way up and down. Good shot. Brig is unfortunate, I can't really talk. Brig is like, people play her like he's like a tank or whatever, but he's really not at all. He's still a support.
Score.
A bit better. Like,
0-2.
so just
Switching sides.
a quick review on the defense. It's like play to your character's strengths, basically, and position in a way where the enemy team has to spend something to chase you. Just be on high ground. Somewhere further away where it's like if Ryan is swinging on your team, he's not also swinging on you, basically. Like just play to your character's strengths. High ground. Further away, like I said, like your dart doesn't even have fall off. It's just like straight, just like straight away. Use your abilities more. Don't rush using your abilities or anything like that. Just use them.
Ready for battle.
Keep in sight.
And like
I'll have us in and out in
anti-nade
no
is
time.
often way more powerful than like
doctor is
a burst heal, but sometimes you can't help it. So whenever you're just using your abilities on cooldown, you're pretty much always just looking for a strong side. It can like really change the the turn of battle.
2, 1. Defend objective
Pretty fine positioning, just like staying out of their line of fire. I hate crossing. I'm not like super good at it either. Even in Masters. It's just like this and like first point on Numbani I really hate trying to work. This isn't as bad as Numbani. Numbani is terrible. Good sleep dart. Probably could have saved your Diva's mech if you just held down fire, basically. A little bit too much delay. Like right there, like why are you not shooting while all the nades going? Like you can animate it and hey, I'm gonna go into the training.
Much better.
So right now that's like super scary. You're really pushing into the danger zone. You're fine, it's like within like 10 meters of them. It's like great. And then right now, like you're on low ground, your team's on high ground. Some of them are critical. It's so scary.
I see you.
I gotta say, doing these water views is kind of fun.
I'll keep you up.
Shadow. Specifically here, whenever like the point's pretty much clear and someone's capping, you should definitely just try to set up on like just one of the high grounds, just like up here. Just like up here in the corner. Like you got a little bit of cover here and you get a good view on like everybody coming in, and it's like they're not really going to be looking for you. Like they want to save the point. So if you're up here, you have a view of your team and the people coming in. So like before they can probably even get a shot off of on your team. I don't know why I'm pointing here. Most heroes can't make it up here, but like here people like to come in, and here specifically people like to come in because it's like the fastest routes. So you would like have first dibs on them to like either do damage, keep your team up, whatever. and then you have just like the littlest bit of cover or whatever, at least, at the very least, or like you can drop down, hide behind the car and stuff, like, things like that. Like over here, like what are you worried about? Like somehow the game bugs and the enemy team like spawns in your spawn and they like come from behind. It's probably not gonna happen. Not really gonna criticize anything about like them being teammates. Like it happens. So like better positioning, like being in a better position somehow magically makes your teammates better teammates. If that makes sense.
My ultimate is moving out. Let's take them out.
Let's pick up the pace. Get in there.
The Nano obviously wasn't like anything there. It was their reaction area. I feel like you just pressed Q because you panicked it because they were pressing Q and stuff. Unfortunate.
We're outnumbered.
So you had nades for a while.
We're outnumbered.
Yes, you could have saved them. It's not really, so like, this is a big thing too, like, staggering, especially in these lower elos and stuff. So like, the fight was lost, like, you know, 2 of your teammates are dead or whatever, they're coming back from spawn. You and Baptiste are playing a very dangerous game, where now that your team's back and like coming to the point and stuff, if either one of you dies, it's very likely that they're going to lose the next fight as well. And then, like, you might start that, like, cascading chain of just, like, oh, I have to make a hero play. Oh, I have to make a hero play. And then, like, nothing ever gets done. So, like, when you're down, just back up. Just, like, you know, hang out. Be safe. Like, and do anything except put yourself in danger. Like, being in danger of dying while your team's dead already and waiting to respawn, very bad.
Healing you. Thanks for the help.
Let them up.
Probably a good window. So unfortunate. I'm not sure if the bat has lamp or not, so like if he's gonna window like that, he wants to put the lamp out as well. Just like right here around this corner here. Where they can't see it, and then like you guys stand in the lamp or stand in the window. Shoot as much as you want, no problem.
Against those hostiles.
Very scary.
I needed that. I want you for healing fortified.
Playing a little close. Fine. Like, there's no reason to like barrel stuff your team. Little space. Use that space. Like, use the space to be unfortunate. Like, if you were a little bit further back, you probably wouldn't have gotten blizzard from either. That was a good pick from your team. You guys need to like not do that.
Keep fighting. No power down. Get in there.
Again, like you probably don't want to open up the mana. Like what I was gonna say for the golden core, you guys should just like drop down around.
Taking care of you.
10 seconds.
He had other ideas. He had other ideas.
Got you.
I assume that there's nothing else that I'm really gonna have to talk about. So just like better ult usage and everything is a big thing. But yeah, let's hop in the training range real quick. For Ana.
I will not leave a
Ana, like I
broken
was
world
talking
behind.
about, so like, your scopes, your unscoped
Go
shots,
down.
they are percentile, so if you can just get better at aiming, like it'll just be easier overall. I mean, obviously better, easier said than done. But what I was gonna say about like, you could have saved your Junkrat and everything is like, so your E,
Taking damage.
the bio grenade is like, it's an anti-agent. You can just like, boom, shoot, and as long as the shot's already gone out, you can do other stuff. There's nothing else you can do until there's another shot, right?
I'm no easy mark.
So like, shoot, nade, shoot. Like, there was like no delay in the second shot. Because like, the second shot wasn't ready until after the nade was done. And then when I was talking about quick scoping, is like, you just, as fast as possible. Like, as soon as you see the outlines of the scope, boom, you shoot. And it'll keep you from getting locked out of the shot.
No
If you
wonder I
shoot
can't retire.
Scope, like, there's a much more noticeable delay between each shot. But yeah, the biggest thing I was talking about with like shoot, nade, shoot is like if you get dove, you can shoot, nade, shoot,
Pipe down.
and kill like basically any 200 HP target. Like obviously that was like way overkill because it's just a tracer. But, like you can just with a tracer, it's shoot, nade, melee.
Dive. Over here.
So let's just say 200 HP target. And then the melee is just like flare.
Not the first, not the last.
What I was saying about Nana as well. It's like you see that
No
person
power
slow,
down.
boom.
Get in there.
They're healed. They're in the middle of the fight. They're full health now. They can fight. Yeah, that's how you get full value of Nana. Hopefully this was informative. This is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but like, hopefully you get something out of it. And I mean, if you have any questions, like, please let me know.